Hi guys, I wanted to bring attention to the North Dakota Access Pipeline, um, or the Dakota Access Pipeline, I guess it's also called the DAPL. Um, and, there's been a lot of media coverage of this. Native Americans have been protesting it. It's the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe that is mainly opposing it, but there are also other forces. And I wanted to, debunk a lot of myths that are out there about this, because people think that, terrible things are happening to the Native Americans here. And, this is just another example of how we've been abusing Native Americans for years. Well, that's not really the case here. In fact, the Native Americans are really doing some terrible, terrible tactics, and they should be denounced for what they're doing. It's quite disgusting, in my opinion. And it's not just them, but I'll show you some of the other forces in a second here. But, and anyways, as you can see in the headline here, the media is covering it as this is like the majority of how the media is covering it. Protesters, including children, mauled as private mercenaries attack Native American pipeline protest. I mean, this just reeks of propaganda, and sensationalism. I mean, private mercenaries, or, how about private security contractors? That's they're not, out there being paid to kill. Mercenaries is a bit strong, I think. And protesters, well, are they really protesters? If they're or merely protesters, if they're actually attacking people and doing damage, um, should we refer to them as rioters? Granted, it's not like a big city riot, but these are not peaceful protests like they would have you believe, and I'll prove that. Um, but first of all, what is the Dakota Access Pipeline? Well, this shows it. See, you can see the dotted line is the proposed Dakota pipeline, and it goes from here all the way across, and then you go down, and you see where it hits this, right by this blue dot, it hits this yellow. That's another pipeline. So this yellow pipeline is already in existence, and this is where it would continue on. And to prove that I'm not BSing you, you can see here, it starts here, it goes around, it comes down, and then it comes down here, continues, and then it goes on into other states. So most most of this idea that, well, hold on, let me actually get into it. So let's start reading this sensationalized article. And they'll say that they're being attacked, right? What they say is that they're protesting water as life because it's going through some of their water. Well, I just showed you that that's already pipelines in the area. So, because the protests are somewhere in the southern center part of the state here. So I'll show you this video quick, and I'll point out how it's not peaceful, and it's actually the Native Americans that are the aggressors.
Go get your money somewhere else! Yeah, you! We're standing at the construction site of the Dakota Access Pipeline. It looks like there are at least 3 bulldozers that are, to people's surprise at this moment, actually bulldozing the land. There's a helicopter above, there's security here, and hundreds of people have been marching up when they heard that the construction site is actually active right now.
My name is Jacob John.
Actually, you can see that some of them, I don't know if I can get to it. If you watch closely, you can see, okay, these construction workers are just kind of minding their own business.
And
Nobody's
hundreds
minding.
of people have been marching up
Nobody's minding.
when they heard that the construction site is actually active right now.
My name is Jacob Johns.
And where are you from?
There's people holding like weapons and stuff if you look closely.
I'm from Spokane, Washington.
Like sticks and...
And can you describe what you see, what they're doing?
These people, construction workers, are just trying to do their job. They have nothing to do with the politics, you know? They're just listening to their bosses. Keep that in mind.
They're bulldozing. They're bulldozing and preparing to install a pipeline to go underneath the river.
And above we see a helicopter.
The helicopter itself has been following us and taking pictures, and we're filming them in return.
Okay, what is filming a helicopter in return gonna do? That's just stupid, but they can do it, I guess.
Come on, guys!
See, here's the water is life because there's some water in the area, but I mean, there are other pipelines that can already there, so.
Guys, stop this! Why are we standing and watching? Get in there! Stop it!
Now this is what I have a serious problem with. You see the fence there, and it's a border. And now this woman is crossing with her child. This is what they're doing. They're taking their women and children and they're crossing first in an attempt like, oh, I'm a woman, you can't hit me. This is my child, you can't hit me. And we're going to come across and we're going to be aggressive. And then if you retaliate, you're hitting women and children, or, you know, you're macing women and children. They are literally using children, their own children, as human shields. This should disgust people. They should be their kids should be taken away and brought to human services. This is not acceptable. And now look at one crosses, another cross. Now they're tearing down the fence. Now tell me, who is the aggressor here? This is, you know, a lot of this video is being shot by a journalist who's pro-Native American protesting. Like, she's trying to document on their behalf. If you watch a lot of her stuff, you'll find that pretty quickly.
Gone through the fence, men, women, and children. The bulldozers are still...
Okay, now watch closely. What you're going to see, I'm going to spoil it, is you're going to see a Native American protester go and attack a construction worker. And the construction worker is going to whip him down to the ground, and another protester is going to come and start punching him. It's only a couple seconds, so you have to keep your eye open.
Going, and they're yelling at the men and...
Did you hear that? There were battle cries. They're Native American battle cries. They're treating this like a war.
Hard hats. One man in hard hat threw one of the protesters.
See? Okay, they're saying one of the men threw the protester to the ground. How did he get there? He charged that man.
Down.
And now look at, they're all coming to the rescue. And see? This protester's punching him. All that man did was defend himself. And now what you're going to see is the security comes in. And then they're going to complain that the security has dogs that bite them. But as you can clearly see, they started all of the aggression. And now it's up to the quote-unquote mercenaries to protect these people.
And they're marching over
now the
dirt
dogs
mounds. Some of the security...
Now I just want to point out, there are hundreds of people, hundreds, protesting. And there are only a couple construction workers and only a couple security guys. They are severely outmanned. Weapons are not just, the protesters' fists alone can severely do damage. They can kill these people if they really want to. So this is actually quite a high-risk situation.
Security have dogs. The 6 bulldozers are pulling back right now. People are marching forward in their tracks. There are men, women, and children. More security trucks are pulling up.
They have horseback.
There are some protesters.
This is organized. These are not just some random people getting together. This is an organized protest / riot. That is not peaceful, as you can see.
On horseback.
Now the dog's coming in, chasing them away, biting the horse. Biting the guy on the horse a little bit, trying to get him to back off.
Security has some kind of gas. People are being pepper sprayed.
Yep. I mean, okay, you're getting pepper sprayed. You're trespassing. And what do they say? We're not leaving. They're not leaving. This happened day after day after day, by the way. Like, these types of activity, this was not an isolated incident. They're trying to literally shut down the pipeline by because they lost in court. So now they're trying to do it physically, just by getting the support of the public and literally just getting in the way.
We are not leaving! We are not leaving! We are not leaving! We are not leaving!
Sir, reporter from New York, what are you spraying people with?
I haven't sprayed anything, man.
But what is that?
The guy just makes me in the face right now.
So it's a can of pepper spray.
This guy makes me in the face.
Show us the label.
Look, it's all over my sunglasses. Just makes me in the face. A dog bit him right now.
It might have not been that guy, by the way. He claims he didn't mace people. It could have been someone else. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Even if he did, he has the right to protect the construction workers. And look at the situation's been de-escalated to some extent. These security people are not going further. They're backing off. They're trying to hold a line. I mean, this is not extreme by any means.
Dog on me. These fuckers throw the dog on me. Look at this. Look at this.
Let me say.
Yeah, they sick the dog on you because you're attacking people. I mean,
Throw the dog on me. No, you did it on purpose, man. Over there with that dog. I was like walking, throw the dog on me straight, even without any warning, Look at this. Look at this.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
Charging him, and it bit somebody right in the face, and then it charged at me and tried to bite me, and they're still threatening these dogs against us, and we're not doing anything.
Look at the guy's holding a stick up and threatening to hit either the security woman or the security dog. This guy over here is some sort of weapon that he's picking up. So this is a group gang mentality that's going on here. So this is highly dangerous.
Why are you letting their dog go after the protesters? It's covered in blood.
Stop the woman! You sick the fucking woman! What the fuck is wrong with you? Get your fucking dog out of here! Get your fucking dog out of here! Get the fucking dog!
I have to say those dogs are being pretty damn useful, aren't they? Look at that. See that guy take a stab at that dog with that flag? You'll see he's gonna threaten to fight this guy with the flag. Watch him. Oh, he just took another stab. There's another.
What the fuck you dog gonna do?
Look at, they all have sticks. These are the peaceful protesters. And look at, this is plowed ground. This is the actual construction site. They are trespassing.
After the protesters said that the dog was bloody from biting them, they then pulled the dogs away and now pickup trucks.
By the way, you know, they're saying the dog is bloody from biting people. We don't actually know that. That's the story of the protester. The dog might have been kicked or might actually have its own injuries from being attacked. I mean, we see them trying to attack the dogs. And when the dog bit that horse and it kicked, it could have done some damage as well. Horses have an extremely strong kick.
Truck is pulling away. We'll see what happens. The protest.
Look at it, they're leaving, and this guy just picked up a rock and threw it at him. And you see, like, a lot of these protesters are throwing rocks, and they'll be hitting the trucks with sticks as they're leaving. That's not peaceful.
Are moving in to ensure
that the
aggressive. Security leaves.
These people
Let's go check on this woman. What
actually
happened?
leaving.
I just a lot of mace and the sweat was
and they're
dripping
chasing.
it was the sweat was making
That is
it
not
run down
defensive.
into my eyes. I had my glasses on and that spared me the brunt of it, but then the sweat started putting it in.
How are you doing?
No more Duluth.
I didn't believe me, so he didn't want to listen. He stuck his hand out and he maced me. This other guy, and I think he maced a lady too.
He didn't want to listen.
Then they tried getting the dogs on us, so I was just standing there. I wasn't really doing nothing.
Oh, right.
That dog ran up on me and it bit around my ankle.
He wasn't really doing anything. A dog just came up and bit him in the ankle. Okay, so what side's more likely? So what side is more believable? Think about it.
We're caretakers of the earth.
Oh. Do you feel like you won today?
Okay, so we're the caretakers of the earth. I'm going to show you something in a little bit that just think about how environmentally friendly these people are being.
We win every day when we stand in unity.
We did.
Where are your horses from?
Crow Creek, South Dakota.
And you came from there?
Yes, ma'am.
So he's not even
And so,
from the state.
describe the scene to us.
But he could, in fairness, South Dakota's not that far away. I mean, we're talking, you know, this area. So if they're in northern South Dakota, and like this pipeline's going into South Dakota too, so here's the pipeline. So it goes well into South Dakota. I don't have a problem with South Dakotans going into North Dakota, but there are people from, as you'll see, in, like, outside the country and outside the state, like, well, other corners of the country. So
We protected our water and we did a good job at doing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, protecting their water when there's already pipelines there. So this is the dog. Remember that woman where they had the stick up, were threatening to hit her, and the dog went after that guy? I mean, and yeah, so then there's some injuries here. If you want to look through, I'll be posting everything I show you. I always try to post that in the description so you can go through and read more. So that's the sensationalized aspect there. You know, then they have like these meme type of things. A pregnant woman was bit in the shoulder by an attack dog. What are pregnant women out being aggressive or being a part of these aggressive protests? You know, this is disgusting. I mean, the security people have to do what they have to do to control a mob at that point, an aggressive mob. They can't be sitting out, you know, picking out who's aggressive, who's not, who is pregnant, who's not. Like, it's not how riot control works. So then, remember that whole, you know, we're the protectors of the environment thing? Yeah, these are tires, and they're burning them. I gotta refresh. I must have had it up too long, and Let's see if we can watch this. Sorry about the delay. God, CNN sucks. So it's telling you what the pipeline's about, connecting North Dakota to Illinois to carry fuel. Standing Rock Sioux Tribe is, the reservation is near. Did you see that? Oh God. I don't know if I can back this up. It said it was near a DAPL construction site in North Dakota. That's the biggest myth of this entire thing. People think that this is going through Native American land. It's not touching their land. It's completely going around their land. Like the pipeline, the owners of the pipeline, the builders of it wanted to put it through their area, and they said no. So the entire, they decided to go around, and that's what made the tribe mad. So, but they have no control over what happens on land that's not even theirs. It's, other people's lands. That's when you see how authoritarian this is. On the protester side, I mean. Yeah, all of a sudden there's all these damage to sacred sites or whatever, They always come up with this kind of stuff, water contamination, but that's not a problem with the other pipelines, and, they could have allowed it through their land and didn't, so, remember, this is off their lands, so anyways, that's that. I think that's enough of that video, but there's one other thing. This is actually a pretty good article by CNN, surprisingly. It first tells you what it's about, but the Standing Rock Sioux call this reservation home, and many are not on the front lines of this months long ago, and at times violent protest. See, even CNN is saying it's a violent protest. With no end in sight, what does it mean to them? And are they even united in their support? The answer to that last question, not even close. They would have you. This is one, you want to talk racism? One of the most racist things I see is that we constantly say, oh, Native Americans this, Native Americans that. You know what? There's no one person that speaks on behalf of all the Native Americans, okay? Native Americans have their own opinions. There are many tribes. They are extremely different between the tribes. They have a long history of fighting between one another. And, inter-tribe fighting. And individuals within tribes can disagree with each other. And, you hear on issues of, mascots for schools and stuff. Not all Native Americans are against those mascots either. For instance, the Florida State Seminoles. The Seminoles in Florida have a long history. The head of the tribe and many tribe members within the tribe have a long history of supporting the Florida Seminole mascot. So here, there's actually a story of, this is the leader of, or district chairman of the city Cannonball, or the town. It's 840 people. And what this protest is doing is there's forcing roadblocks. That's the response to the protest. They're putting up blocks. And this is creating problems for the city because, now the detours creates and forces people to go more than 40 miles out of their way because of these protests, the roadblocks in response to the protests, I should say. So, And then they're talking about how he found 3 teenage girls from Ontario, Canada, camped out inside a storage shed. A white woman from Spokane, Washington, came to see him for help. Um, so there's like people from all over the country. That's what this is getting at. And it's these outside forces. Or I shouldn't say most, but a lot of these or a lot of these protesters aren't even tribe members. So let's move on. This article is extremely long, and it's a really good article. You know, this is a guy who doesn't really care either way. Then there are the people who do care, so a fight worth having. So if you can read all sides. This is one of the better articles I've seen on CNN. I'm not too often a fan of their stuff, but okay. So remember those outside forces? Here's Red State. This is a more conservative site. This is a big long thing actually starts from Iran and then gets into the Dakota Access Pipeline. It gets into basically the process, how the rejection of the application happened for the Keystone Pipeline and how that's different from the Dakota Access permits that were accepted. So, you're getting some background here. All of these are links to even read further, so this is a really good article that gives you a lot of information. So then it says, you have all your permits, so that's the end, right? No, because the environmentalists, radicals as they call them, come in, and it's a George Soros funded EarthJustice. So that's where the outsiders are coming in. It's no different. I live in Wisconsin, for instance, and Black Lives Matter came into Milwaukee. And why did they come into Milwaukee? Because they were trying to get Sheriff Joe, I think his name is, fired. Sheriff Clark, I think his name is. Sheriff Joe is the Arpaia from Arizona. Sorry about that, but Sheriff Clark. And he actually responded very well to the Black Lives Matter protests in Milwaukee, but they turned into riots, and most of the people, a lot of the agitators, organizers were from outside the state, and it was a political thing. Just like this is political. It's got nothing to do with all this water crap and sacred sites. These are just excuses being drummed up. Environmentalism, that's just an excuse because George Soros doesn't want this pipeline to happen for whatever reason. So this is if you want to read this though, there's a lot more here. I don't think I'm gonna get into much of this other stuff. It's a lot of what I already told you. It kind of gives you the different sides. It's coming from the construction side mainly, but it's going through the entire process. So, and they're talking about how basically the tribe and the EarthJustice are lying to the media, saying that the Dakota Access Pipeline organization wouldn't meet or negotiate with the tribe, and it's not true because they tried 7 times and the tribe kept rejecting them. So it's the tribe that wouldn't even talk, and they were basically saying that the tribe, if they want their lawsuits to be taken seriously, they need to get rid of this environmental organization called EarthJustice because they're out for their own propaganda, you know. They're not in their own interests. They're not interested in helping the Native Americans. And that's why they don't care that they're actually hurting many Native Americans within that tribe. So the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe it's called. So anyways, if what you really want to do is help the tribe members, the individual tribe members, consider that many of them are being hurt by these protests. And consider that the people in charge of this pipeline tried over and over to nicely solve the situation. They tried to negotiate, they tried not going in with the security and, just backing off when the protests came and coming back the next day. But day after day it continued, and they had to slowly increase the force. And eventually they had to get the state police, and because the security, the private security wasn't enough. And it's this escalation of force that has been forced upon by the protesters. So there are if you want, there's new videos out there about the protests, and it's pretty bad. There are like people who are getting fingers blown off from concussion grenades and stuff like that. But it's like, what can they do? I don't want to see people get hurt, but they're trying to control these mobs, and these mobs refuse to go away. They're breaking the law. They've tried mass arrests, that didn't work. They've used tear gas, they used rubber bullets, none of it worked. They have to go higher and higher up on the scale. And, when you use things like concussion grenades, if you do hit someone directly, it can severely hurt them, possibly kill them, but whose fault is that? It's not the fault of the police at that point. It's the fault of the people who are creating this situation. This went through courts, and the judge decided that it was legal what they were doing. All the permits, this article will show you the permits were passed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They actually took the side of the Native Americans as much as they could, but in the end, the law's just not on their side. This isn't their land. So this is just another example of Native Americans abusing the history of what happened to their people. This is another example of George Soros abusing cause and agitating people into, creating problems. Here they're using the Native Americans. Other places they've used black people for, the Black Lives Matter protests and things like that. And if you really want to help the Native Americans, then standing with the construction workers, as counterintuitive as that sounds, is actually the right stance. So hopefully I've convinced you not to side with the protesters, and I hope I didn't get too long-winded. I tried to put the information here. I'll put all this in the description. Like my channel and subscribe if you want. I don't edit, and sorry if that's annoying, but I will continue to try to put out good content, and if you like the content and you are interested in a specific issue, let me know, and I'll put that. I'll try to take on that issue, especially if I know someone's interested in it, and I'll do some research on it to develop my opinion. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later.